You've done your research, you've conducted your surveys, you've analyzed your data, you've made your charts. Now it's time to finish your paper. First of all, we're going to include in the findings a number of things. We want to tell the reader where these participants came from. So you need to include the setting, Randall Valley High School, and the participants, including their demographic. So you would want to mention in there the ages of the students, the ranges of students that came, that you use in your survey, the grades, so how many juniors, seniors that you had, the gender, the total people included. All of those demographics should be right in the first part of those findings. And then you need to explain your categories. A while ago, I had you come up with categories and how you were going to do things. If you're going to have like those who worked a lot, how are you going to categorize those? So now you need to explain those categories. And then you need to start including your charts and explain what the data is. So the easiest way to do this is to go to, again, my project page and then pull up the one that I wrote. And then you can get an example stuff. So page 28 is going to have some information here. So page 28 is when we start putting together the findings. So here's some statistical information here. I have it in another part of the paper too, but we're going to put yours here. And then here's where I explained my categories. I classified these students into two groups, high participants and low participants. And I gave a brief explanation. So the reader of my paper knows what it means to be a high participant or a low participant. And then I started including my tables with an explanation of these tables. And then sometimes the explanations were longer as I explained the data there, and sometimes not as long, but you need to explain basically the findings from your tables or graphs that you put in here. And I would recommend that you go to page 28 of my paper and read at least 1 or 2 pages of it to get some idea of what it should look like or what I'm expecting. Okay? So after you get the findings done, the next step is a conclusion. In a conclusion, you want to restate your hypothesis, and then what did you conclude? Well, the findings that we had before, you're just writing what you found. Now you're saying, hey, did my hypothesis hold out to be true or false? And again, if you go back to this, now this is page 43 on mine, where I have the discussion. And I restated the hypothesis in here. And then did my hypothesis turn out to be true? And then basically a summary of the findings here. Doesn't have to be as specific as before, but kind of summarize that. And again, if you want to read a conclusion, go to page 43 of mine, and you can do that. Then the next part of your paper, next heading there is discussion. And in discussion, here's your opinion. In a paragraph or two, write down your reasoning. If you found out that, let's say, video games lead to poor academic performance, then why do you think that is? This doesn't have to be proven. This is just your thoughts on it. What is your reasoning for the findings that you found? Or what are some possible reasonings for the findings that you found? This is the only time you really get to have just your own opinion in this paper. Okay, and then lastly, then the limitations of the study. Limitations are pretty simple. You didn't have a very large sample size. And again, if you want to see limitations, mine I included at a different time. Mine was on page 7, and it's really short. My limitations due to the small, unique sample used in the study, results may not be accurate beyond the specific population which the sample is drawn. Something along those lines. What are the limitations of this? Did you have some poorly worded questions? Did you have, did some people not take it seriously? Okay, so that's what needs to be included in this part of the paper now. Your findings, your conclusion, your discussion, your limitations. And that it doesn't conclude your paper because we need to put it all together in a smooth form, but you have most of your paper written. Now is the point of just the fun part, putting the data in there and analyzing that data.